Very good morning and welcome you to this course on operations management. And we're going to see a topic from Unit 4. And the topic for today is lead time management. So we're going to talk about in detail the various aspects of lead time management. Now, first of all, we need to understand what do you mean by lead time. So lead time is basically, it's actually a measure. So the measure is actually can be in minutes, or it can be in hours, or it can be in days. Of what? The number of hours or minutes or days with respect to starting and completion of an operation and process, that the time elapsed. Suppose you start a process. What is the start time? And once you complete a process, what is the once it is completed? That time. So the time between both is actually called lead time. So lead time is a concept which can be applied to anything. And for example, now we are talking about operations management. So we are going to apply this lead time concept with respect to a manufacturing scenario. So here we'll understand all with respect to that. So what are the components of lead time with respect to this manufacturing operations management scenarios? The purchase lead time. So we will explain and understand. We will understand each one of it in detail in the later slides. Then the second component of the lead time is the manufacturing lead time. The third is the distribution lead time. The fourth is the logistics lead time. The next one is the setup time and the waiting times and the decision making times. So these overall all contribute to the components of the lead time with respect to the manufacturing. Some more concepts with respect to the lead time categories actually. So when you talk about this SCP lead time, the SCP lead time is actually the abbreviation for supply chain to raw material. So to final product. So when you talk about SCP lead time, so actually what we mean is what is the overall time which is being taken for the from the conversion of the raw material into the final product, which includes the reaching the hands of the customers or distributors. So you can see that it covers the entire clock. Because if we break it up, we can say there are 3-4 areas. One is the purchasing itself, and the actual raw material which comes in from the supplier or when you make it. Then the logistics parts come in. And then you ship it to the distributors or the customers. The entire chain comes under the supply chain to raw material lead time. And what is something called ODP lead time? So ODP lead time is with respect to the customers. So which is the time which is being calculated from the customer placing an order to the organization and when he receives the product. So the elapsed time, the time in between, that is called ODP lead time. The SCP lead time is internal, whereas with respect to the organization and manufacturing, ODP lead time is external, where it delivers to the customer. And the value-added lead time is very important. What is the actual time the organization spends to manufacture the product? Because, for example, if you talk about movement, it is not a value-added. So stoppage of the machine is not value-added for preliminary checks and all. So it's not value-added. So what is the actual time is required to manufacture the product is very, very important. So non-value lead, that is what I said, non-value-added lead time is the time which is elapsed where the material sits as an inventory or it is moving unnecessarily. So that is called non-value lead time. It's a very, very interesting area because you have to really focus on improving the value-added lead time and cutting down on the non-value lead time, because the more the time the organization spends in a value-added lead time, the better it is in terms of overall productivity. So as you see, the causes of long lead time is the setup time. See, a machine cannot be set up automatically. There has to be a lot of procedures and processes, but that has to be minimized and controlled. That is the point. You can't avoid it, but at the end of the day, it has to be controlled. And movement time, see, it is inevitable where the raw materials and work in process have to move from machinery to machinery. It is inevitable. But again, the key point is to ensure that doesn't cross. There is no much of crisscrossing, and time is also movement time is also. And the queue time, so there should not be long queue. A particular component, when it has been machined in one particular machine, cannot wait for a long queue to be get processed in other machines. So that depends on a lot of factors due to the productivity of the machine, productivity of the worker, the type of machine, all the factors play. But at the end of the day, the queue has to be very, very minimal and optimal. And that the next part is, as I told, is the waiting time. So lead time management, dealing with lead time management, there are some techniques with respect to lead time management. One is product-oriented layout, when you have your manufacturing layout restructured in a way where you actually produce based on the product, then what happens? The lead time actually will get controlled. So that we have seen from a lot of real-time organizations where they organize the layout, the shop floor itself based on the product. And process, whenever the particular manufacturing is based heavily on a process, it is definitely logical to ensure that the layout is based on the process. Whenever your manufacturing is based on a product, then it is better to go for product layout. But if it's a process, it is better to go for a process layout. And the employee involvement is very important rather than the use of isolated involvement. The entire team has to get involved. And full manufacturing is actually a very, very important concept where you only manufacture whenever there is a requirement from the customer side. You actually make to order, you don't make to stock. And zero defects is a very, very critical concept again, where if you actually produce with a lot of defects, then it leads to increased need for inspection, which is leading increasing time, increasing cost, and your production get interrupted, and again increased need for a rework. This all impacts lead time in a very, very big way. And supply lead time. So we quickly see what is the supply lead time. Is the time elapsed when the customer is placing an order for a product, and when the customer item becomes available to satisfy the customer demands. So this is a very, very important component of supply lead time. So we can actually see the lead time management. Actually, if you can see an example of a yarn manufacturer, there's a logistics part. Then it goes to the fabric manufacturer. Then it goes to the garment manufacturer. Then it gets shipped. Then comes to the warehouse. Then comes to the retailer. It's a beautiful visual representation of the various intermediaries involved and how the lead time is also involved. So we can all these are all explained in the subsequent slides. So we can see this particular slide before we finally close. So this is actually the overall lead time management. We have two parts, internal as well as external. The internal, where, for example, organization takes some time to decide the particular need for the product, and there is a process where it takes time to place the order. So once it is decided, then what happens? Then it goes to the supplier. Then there is a time for order received, and then he takes some time for manufacturing the particular supplier. Then the product gets dispatched. Then finally, again, it comes back to the organization which has ordered the product, time product. See, so these are the overall flow with respect to the lead time management. So this is one more example where lead time, the impact. For example, if the lead time is 2 weeks and your consumption is 70 items per week, then obviously you have to stock for 140 items, because whenever you go to order, it is going to take 2 weeks. So the second week gets affected. But if it is increasing by 1 week, as you shown by the calculation, the maximum stock you want to store is 2 time items. The lead time is very, very impacting factor with respect to inventory structure. So these are all the other factors. There is also one more case study which is given, which we can see in a leisure time. So thank you very much for this particular presentation, listening to this presentation, and we look forward to meeting with you.